in control, his eyes unblinking and centered steadfast. No doubt about it, heaven was on his side. I've only felt like that about a few people. When I wasn't staying at Van Ronk's, I'd usually stay at Ray's place, get back sometime before dawn, mount the dark stairs, and carefully close the door behind me. I shoved off into the sofa bed like entering a vault. Ray was not a guy who had nothing on his mind. He seemed to have some golden grip on reality, didn't sweat the small stuff, quoted the Psalms, and slept with a pistol near his bed. At times, he could say things that had too much edge. Once he said that President Kennedy wouldn't last out his term because he was a Catholic. When he said it, it made me think about my grandmother, who said to me that the Pope is the king of the Jews. She lived back in Duluth on the top floor of a duplex on 5th Street. From a window in the back room, you could see Lake Superior, ominous and foreboding, iron bulk freighters and barges off in the distance, the sound of foghorns to my right and left. My grandmother had only one leg and had been a seamstress. Sometimes on weekends, my parents would drive down from Iron Range to Duluth and drop me off at her place for a couple of days. She was a dark lady, smoked a pipe. The other side of my family was more light-skinned and fair. My grandmother's voice possessed a haunting accent, face always set in half-despairing expression. Life for her hadn't been easy. She'd come to America from Odessa, a seaport town in southern Russia. It was a town not unlike Duluth, the same kind of temperament, climate, and landscape, and right on the edge of a big body of water. Originally, she'd come out from Turkey, sailed from Trabzon, a port town across the Black Sea, the sea that the ancient Greeks called the Euxine, the one Lord Byron wrote about in Don Juan. Her family was from Kağızman, a town in Turkey near the Armenian border, and the family name had been Kyrgyz. My grandfather's parents had also come from that same area, where they had been mostly shoemakers and leather workers. My grandmother's ancestors had been from Constantinople. As a teenager, I used to sing the Ritchie Valens song, In a Turkish Town, with the lines in it about the mystery Turks and stars above. There were no Ritchie Valens records up at Ray's place, Turkish Town or otherwise. Mostly it was classical music and jazz bands. There were Bach fugues and Berlioz symphonies, symphonic poems by virtuoso pianists, string serenades and themes that sound like polka dances. Polka dances always got my blood pumping. That was the first type of loud, live music I ever heard. On Saturday nights, the taverns were filled with polka bands.